And we're live. Everybody, welcome to the Horror Realm. Today we're doing the Horror Realm Awards. It's my first year, and the year is wrapping up, and I've got to watch some amazing indie horror movies, read some amazing indie horror novels, and I want to give you guys a spotlight. Once again, I'm not a film festival thing. This is something fun, and it's a blast. And it's been an excellent year. First year for me as well. I have with us my co-host for today. He is a filmmaker, composer, horror fan, and he is a horror realm super fan. I have once again my man Everett Dudgeonn with us today. Everett, thanks for joining me today, man.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Great pleasure to be here, Travis.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, man. So let's shoot over to the first category, man. We got several categories to go into.
Nice.
First category. This is a fun one, and this is the best TNA in an indie horror movie. We're only doing indie today.
Yeah.
And the movie is called Murder Size. Have you had a chance to see Murder Size?
Yes, I have.
It is a fun one.
It is. It's a very bouncy film.
It is. And it's not it's I wouldn't even say it's a horror. It's more like a horror comedy.
Yeah, it's more of a parody.
Yes. And I mean definitely Paul Ragsdale and his wife did it. I interviewed them. It was one of my best interviews. They did an amazing job on this movie. And definitely check that out. I believe it's streaming on Tubi right now.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely check that out. Okay, so we're gonna shoot to one of the biggies. Ready to shoot? Ready for one of the big ones?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna do best female horror author. Now, Everett, you've seen quite a few of my interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think it is?
You know what? I'm actually not too sure on this one.
Well, it's an amazing book. It's called Oh Fuck, Oh Fuck, It Hurts.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And it's by Ruth Ann Evans. Definitely check this one out. The reason I like this because it's a bunch of short stories about real life horror situations, like a woman giving birth or someone going through the pains of cancer. It just goes into that natural vibe of pain and what human beings actually have to deal with, the actual pain, through
like
life.
Medical horror. Yeah.
Yeah, medical horror. Yes.
It's like a faces the death for books.
It is. It is. Yeah, so I mean, definitely. So the best female author definitely goes to my girl Ruth Ann Evans with "Oh Fuck, Oh Fuck, It Hurts." I mean, it's a fucking great fucking title too.
Yeah.
All right, and then my best male author of the year.
Gotta be my man, Mark Allen.
Mark Allen, by the way, Mark came in second place, man. I was fighting hard for this one, man. It was a debate the whole entire time which one to go with. But I actually went with Jarrett Johnson, and he actually did a book. It was called Terror Bay, a Die Hard horror. He actually sent me a autographed hard copy of it.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, Jarrett. I mean, it's an amazing book. It's definitely extreme. I'm not saying it's steampunk extreme, I would say, but it's definitely extreme and deals with vampires. It's an excellent book.
Nice.
And I love vampires.
Yeah, it seems to be a popular topic this year. Seems like a lot of the books were about vampires. Like Mark Allen's book was about vampires, and yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like it was a really popular topic. Not so much in cinema though. I didn't see a lot of vampire movies come out this year.
Where have vampires gone? They've disappeared for a while.
I think the issue is people just don't know which way to go with them. Like I know the BBC did that Dracula miniseries with Mark Gatiss did that one, and that was really good. and I know Robert Eggers is doing Nosferatu. I think
That
that's
looks
gonna be on.
amazing.
That looks fantastic.
Yes.
Um, but I think it's just kind of this like a lot of people they love that like Mark Allen, he loves Dracula, right? He
Hmm.
loves like that old school thing just like I do. But it's there's also a lot of people that like that 30 Days of Night type of vampire where it's more animalistic and there's no human aspect to it. I think even that new Dracula one, was it Curse of the Demeter or something with the
That's the
Demeter?
newest one. Yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that yet.
and he's just and most of it's just like a CGI bat monster, right?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
it's cool, but and I don't know if you ever seen the BBC version that Mark Gatiss did. So
Mm-mm.
episode 2 is all on the Demeter, and just that episode is miles better than it. I haven't seen the new Dracula Demeter film, but just based on the trailers, I'm like the BBC one wins just because it has that human interaction and he's like in human form and there's dialogue and it's great. There's a fantastic scene in there where he's sitting at a dinner table and he's talking to this elderly woman, and she recognizes him, but she recognizes him from when she was a little girl, and she can't doesn't understand why he looks the same. I thought that was
Oh,
it was beautiful. It's
because
beautiful.
because when you do the vampire thing right, it can be an amazing fun ride. I mean,
Yeah,
even like John Carpenter's
yeah,
vampires.
yeah,
Yes, I actually enjoyed that movie.
yeah. It's like a vampire western,
Yeah.
and no, I think that I just think it's just kind of like there's such a it's like werewolves, right? It's like
Mhm.
where like how do you want them portrayed? Do you want them portrayed just like dog soldiers, where it's just like there's no personality, it's just all monster? Same with like the Howling,
Mhm.
or do you want something like the Wolfman or um, like a Paul Nashi thing, where you have that human aspect and there's still some type of human characteristic to them? So I think there's always that kind of like debate. What should you do? What should you not do? Um, I think it's always good to experiment, try and mix and match them. But it's a tough one. But I'm surprised that there haven't been more vampire films this year. Because even on Tubi, like it's just
There's
I
none.
haven't seen anything come up this year with vampires.
There was a good one. I want to say his name was Trent Harris. It was called The Takeover, and it was his first movie, and it was a good vampire because it had the human aspect of the vampires. It was his family, but also there was zombies and humans. Like, and the zombies were not like brain zombie, but they had a human aspect to them.
Good.
It was it was kind of weird. I mean, and cool to see these three different groups battling each other, but also the human side of them.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's always the best way to go about it because you need that personality. Otherwise, it's just action sequences. Like I
It's
think
another
that
monster movie to
yeah,
me.
it's not a monster movie. It's just repetitive action sequences, and I think that's also the problem with that type of character and horror now.
Yes.
Whether it's werewolves, vampires, Frankenstein monster, whatever. Um, and this is something that Universal is having an issue with. They're trying to make them superheroes,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and as opposed to making them horror, they're trying to do action, and I'm not opposed to that. I don't know, like DC Comics used to have a comic book line called Creature Commandos, where the U.S. military hired the Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Dracula to fight the Nazis. There was actually a whole it was actually a whole comic book line. It was actually
Really?
really really cool, and I know Marvel did the whole like Tomb of Dracula, Monster Frankenstein, Living Mummy, Man Thing, Werewolf by Night, which I know they made into a movie and stuff. But even still, like you can make these characters like heroes and more action oriented, but don't market it as a horror movie.
Exactly.
Like just
Exactly.
it's an action movie, right? And
Exactly. Like Blade.
yeah, it was. But Blade was never
It's
marketed as a horror movie because it
but
wasn't.
his but it has horror movie elements to it as
Sure,
well, which I did enjoy.
sure. But I mean, you could say that about. I
A
mean, you
lot
could
of
say that
movies.
about. You could say that about Tim Burton's Batman, Batman Returns, even even like Spider-Man with like the symbiote with Venom and everything, right?
Hmm.
That's kind of horror and Morbius type thing, Ghost Rider. So I mean, you can certainly have horror elements, but they're not. Those aren't marketed as horror movies. So
I agree. All right. Well, I'm gonna shoot over to the next one. So this is the best original movie, and this was hard to
oof.
determine as well. So this one, I am going to give it to the filmmaker name is Luke Robert, and it's a movie called Kill City Cup. And
Never seen that one.
this one was pretty interesting because it was a wrestling movie with horror, and it was kind of like fucking Mortal Kombat as well.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, it was definitely a fun movie. And I think, yeah, that's streaming on YouTube. Actually, you can watch that on YouTube free, and
Nice.
it definitely kept my attention because I grew up watching wrestling.
I still do.
Huge Mortal Kombat fan. As everybody know, I'm a horror fan as well.
Yeah.
It just gave, I mean, and there was some tits and ass in it too. So I mean, it just gave you everything you fucking needed.
There was a movie a couple of years, oh, I don't know how long ago. It was called Monsters Brawl. I forgot who. Like I know, like they had a bunch of guest wrestlers. Like I think Jimmy Hart was in it and stuff like that. And
Really?
but that was something like a Mortal Kombat wrestling tournament, but it was like vampires and werewolves, mummies, everything zombies. Um, so yeah, it seems like it's a popular kind of outing for monsters. Like obviously, with the whole El Santo things, El Santo versus the the Aztec mummy and
Yes.
stuff like that. It's so I mean wrestling and horror have kind of been interconnected for decades.
and
Um,
and I feel
and
like most horror fans are wrestling fans and video game fans. I mean,
Yeah,
so
well, and
like,
vice versa.
and
Vice
vice
versa. I
versa.
mean, you'll see wrestlers. I mean, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's in Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3.
Yes.
And and he has like a Jason Voorhees tattoo and everything. And he actually does the commentary for Trauma's Bloodsucking Freaks, and like he's into it. Like he
Hmm.
is like, if you go to his house, he has like pictures like Lon Chaney, and like he's all into that. And I always thought that was kind of, I always think that was so cool. And so it's nice seeing like there is that kind of cohesive movement between wrestling and horror.
And when I went to see Terrified 2, I heard that Chris Jericho was being it, and I was waiting the whole entire movie. It's like, where the fuck? Wait a minute! I got to the end. I was like, where the fuck's Chris Jericho? And then it got to that final cut scene, and you get
Yeah,
to see him for a little bit.
yeah. That was cool, and he definitely plugged that movie. Like he was like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing." He's a great marketing man. He's a great businessman
Yes.
in regards to that.
All right. So the next one, I think you might know who the winner of this one is. The most disturbing movie of 2023.
Ooh, Darius.
It's 100% Darius.
Yeah,
It's 100% Darius.
yeah,
And yeah, it's 100% Darius. Like
yeah.
it's I saw I had other ones on my list, and then I watched Darius, and I was like, yeah, this is not, it's not even close. I mean,
Well,
it's
because
just
it because there's such like a fine line that you cross over into, right? Like there was
mhm.
a lot of crossover between horror and pornography back in like the 1970s. Um, and it's so interesting to see back then that people like filmmakers were kind of taking chances with that. They were kind of doing, okay, let's see how far we can push it. Um, and not even just horror filmmakers, but pornographic filmmakers and
Mhm.
adult filmmakers. They were doing more what they call roughies, uh, assault scenarios, violent scenarios, that type of thing. Um, and I thought, and even vampires.
Yes.
type scenarios. But now it seems like it's like, oh, you can't do that, right? You can't take it there because otherwise you're
Yeah.
getting into like porn parody territory, or you're getting too much,
Yes.
or you're kind of people think it's only for a specific market. And I do wish, and it's funny just because I'm such like an old school 1950s guy, so it's not even my vocation to do this, but um, I would love to see more filmmakers kind of take chances in that, because that was always my biggest issue with Terrifier.
Hmm.
That infamous scene where she's hanging upside down and she does the hacksaw, or he bisects her in half with the hacksaw. And what killed it for me, and this is when I completely wrote the film off, is because she was wearing her underwear. And I know that sounds really strange,
You have to go
but
all the way.
it just felt like, oh, we're going to be edgy, but we're not going to be offensive.
You
And
have
I'm
to go
like,
all the way.
yeah, and I think because especially back in the '80s, like with films like Don't Go in the House, Killer is Still Among Us and everything, you see the it's complete nudity. So you see
Hmm.
everything. And I think seeing that with her underwear on, I was just like it just felt like how is this edgy and controversial now when something back in the '80s went even further?
Yep.
And so it was nice to hear that Darius kind of and went, above and beyond that. And we're just like, you
Yes.
know what? We're gonna step in it. Let's step in it. Jump both feet into it. Let's go and see where it lands. And
Yes. And I mean, it definitely. I mean, there's a scene with a baby, a pregnant woman. I mean, it that movie was not didn't care about offending anybody. It
no,
didn't give a fuck about offending anyone. And
no,
during the interview with the filmmaker, you can tell he don't give two fucking shits what anybody thinks. This is his masterpiece, and
yeah,
it's a fucking beautiful movie. It's a beautiful movie, but it's fucking disturbing.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's nice to because it's nice when people. I hate to. It's I know this is going to sound odd, but it's nice to see someone willing to suffer for their art, or
Yes,
willing to kind of be like bleed for their art, let's say, and just say,
yeah,
fuck it, let's just do it. And whatever backlash we get, to me that is more earnest than saying, oh, we have a controversial film, when the film's not even out yet, because now controversy is such like a marketing gimmick. Now it's such like a
mhm,
marketing tool. um, so it's nice to see somebody who is just like, I'm not going to say it's controversial, I'm just going to show it to you and have you react however you react. There's definitely some honesty in that, I
and
find.
also respect too that he was like, no, I'm not putting my movie out with streaming services. If you want this, you got to fucking buy it. You got to buy the hard copy, and
Yeah,
that's a lot of
that's
filmmakers
that takes
don't
balls.
are not going to do that. They're not, yeah,
No.
I mean, that's a ballsy move.
Yeah, like I would do that for sure, but you know, it is a risk. It is a risk, and a lot of people don't do that because, let's be honest, most independent filmmakers now, or indie films, are not made with a lot of money. There's
Correct.
not a lot of money behind them. So I think any type of it's easier and it's cheaper for them to do it on streaming, and whatever revenue they get from that is bank. With physical media, they have to make the copies, they got to press the discs, they got to do quality control of the discs. And it's a process. But I think when you have, especially when you package it well, like when you package something well, it makes it feel like there's value to it. And I wish more independent filmmakers would do that, um, and take a chance on that, because regardless of if the film is good or not, there is something kind of there is a sense of ownership when you have like a physical media copy, especially something that is well made. Like this is my copy of Road Games. It's like an Australian film with Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis. But
Oh, nice.
look how many special features are on that thing,
Whoa.
and it comes with a book and everything. Like it's
And
so
people will pay money for that extra.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, and that's why people get those like extra ultra HD, things of The Howling and Hellraiser and Psycho and everything because people want that sense of like ownership. They want the booklets. They want to know about the film. They want to hear the commentary. They want to see interviews. Um, I think the more you put into something physical, uh, the more value it seems to because perception is reality.
It is.
The more value people are going to perceive that something has when it has all the bells and whistles. When you just put something on streaming, I'm guilty of this as well. So many times I'll start something and be like,
Yep. I'll come
next
back
thing.
to it. Yep.
I'll come back to it. Okay. Oh, I don't like this, and I can fast forward. Oh, I don't like how this is shot, and that's it. Done. Right. I can't, and it kills it. 'Cause, yeah, I chose the movie and it got a view, but that's I didn't see any value in it, right? I didn't see
And
the
here,
worth in watching it.
and here's the thing too, as an indie filmmaker, it's not about that one view, that one person watching it. You want that one person to refer your movie over to 20 other people, and then they refer it to over 20 other people.
Yeah.
So like you just don't want that quick boop and then it's over.
No. No. And, I hope more filmmakers get into that in terms of, like, that sense of, like, packaging and everything, and not even just the film, but the soundtracks and everything, T-shirts, merchandise,
Yes.
make it a product that you can
And that's what
that is
Darius did.
that is all encompassing, and that's
And that's what
exactly what Darius did.
and I mean he's selling t-shirts. I mean, he's
Yeah,
rocking the t-shirts and everything. He's rocking and rolling. So I mean, definitely disturbing movie wins the 2023 most disturbing movie I've seen in
yeah.
a
I
long
mean,
time.
that was kind of by a landslide, so
Yeah, I mean,
that's that's
there was no competition to
yeah,
that.
I was about to say, that's a bit unfair there,
I feel like I could
Travis.
walk into Terrifier 3 and it's not gonna
Oh,
it can't beat Darius.
no, no, no,
I hope so.
I
But yeah,
but it's always doing something like that, it's always difficult, in terms of, like, having your expectations, set. Like, the thing is the great thing about, that director and Darius is he didn't set any expectations. He doesn't
0.
say that, "Oh, it's controversial and this," and it's not a hype thing, it's just it is what it is, and that's it. And
Mhm.
it's all through word of mouth, and it's all through seeing the actual product,
Yep.
as opposed to, a hype machine behind it. 'Cause the hype almost
No.
never, matches, the film. And, you know, it's I
And the
mean, it
fact
goes
that and the fact that I'm telling people it fucking literally disturbed me for 24 hours afterwards. I'm not a person who's easily disturbed by shit,
no,
and that movie definitely disturbed me, and like no other movie has
no.
that I can
Well
think of.
well,
And
especially 'cause because especially there's not, like, a lot of context to it. It
there's none.
feels more like a dream, right? Like, it feels like you're just
It's not even
watching.
a dream. It's what he said exactly was a hallucination.
Yeah,
That is like so what? It's like you're having a bad hallucination.
yeah, like a bad acid trip or
Yeah,
something.
but bad. I never done acid, but I can imagine watching that movie. I felt like I was on acid because
Yeah,
just the lights flashing and the fucking noises, and
yeah.
it was just it was trippy, trippy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so gonna shoot over next to the best. I just watched this one recently, and honorable mention, Murder Size was gonna win this until I watched this one recently, it's on streaming on Tubi right now. It is called. This is for the best horror comedy. It is called Bloody Freaking Mary. I
Ah.
walked in. I looked at the poster. I was like, I am going to hate this fucking movie. I got to interview this guy. I was like, I'm going to hate this movie. I'm not going to like it. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was. Now, here's the thing. it's a lot of dick humor, like, you know what I mean, like high school weed humor, and there's a lot of marijuana being used in it. And but I like that if it's done right.
Yeah.
I It's a lot of off the wall humor with the kills, and I mean it's an amazing cast. Also, too, the soundtrack in that fucking movie is fucking bopping. I mean, it's original fucking music, and it's fucking like it's bopping the whole entire time.
Mm, nice. Because I think it's such a risk with like any type of whenever you do a horror comedy, it is such a risk.
Yes,
Because sometimes it falls flat and it falls flat for an hour and a half and
yeah.
it's bad. Um, I mean, even because saw the poster of it on Tubi and I was just like, uh,
It looks like, oh, this is gonna be
yeah,
a.
I'm
I
like,
was being
oh
honest, like, oh, this is gonna be
no.
rough.
Yeah, I'm like,
This is
"Oh,
gonna
this
be
one's gonna
rough.
be a rough one," and, because I was fully expecting, click it, get just skim through it a bit and be like, "Nah, it ain't for me." Um, the humor in it wasn't really my cup of tea myself, but, I appreciated, like, it was just like, there was no downtime to it. Like, the soundtrack
Yes,
kept it going, and, then the kills started happening, so it never felt like there was, like, a lull to it.
it wasn't boring at all. I mean,
No.
it wasn't boring at all, and the characters. So the other thing is too, it's like a urban horror movie, and I was shocked that the director was a white guy because majority of the cast is black. Like, and it even has like the football players. They were Bobby, Ricky, Mike. And I was like, oh, New Edition. Like he named the characters after all the members of New Edition. And I'm like, and then like I looked, I was like, wait a minute, I'm interviewing this guy. I could have sworn he was yep, he's a white guy. And like,
You know what? It's, crazy, how many, uh, like, blaxploitation films back in the '70s were directed by white guys, like,
majority of them were.
majority of them were,
Yeah.
and, like, Larry Cohen directed a bunch, who also did It's Alive and, God Told Me To and, Q the Winged Serpent and everything, uh, a and it's amazing just, like, they got like, it just felt like, they got, I think Fred Williamson was talking about this, when because he produced a lot of his own movies, and he hired, Jack Arnold, who directed Creature from the Black Lagoon. So, Fred Williamson asked him to direct his movies like Black Eye and, um, there were some other ones, I think Boss, he asked him to direct as well, and he's like, because I remember, just, like, looking at it, I was like, I totally expected, like, Derville Martin to direct it or Gemma Fanaka or
Yeah.
somebody, but it's like, no, it's Jack Arnold, and, Fred Williamson was talking about it in an interview, and he's like, it's like he just got it. Like, he got the culture, he got the dialogue and everything. So sometimes when you have that outside perspective and even if you're not really, uh, involved in that culture, directly, if you have that outside perspective and you kind of are aware of it and kind of look at it from a unbiased point of view,
Mhm.
it kind of comes together. For some reason, it just works sometimes. I don't
I mean,
know. I
Quentin
don't know why.
Tarantino does a I would say Quentin Tarantino does a great job of it with Jackie
Yeah.
Brown, and I mean,
Oh,
he does a great job of it,
yeah. That's my
and
favorite movie of his, Jackie Brown.
it's up there. Yeah, it's definitely I'd probably say my second favorite Tarantino movie. I love all his movies,
I
but
liked it because, like, it wasn't like it just felt like it was its own film. It didn't feel
yeah,
like it was copying a scene from something else or copying a plot from something else. It just felt like it was taking the style of, like, a 1970s blaxploitation film and just applying it to, like, a new medium.
yes,
It didn't feel like it was rehashing, something just for the sake of, like, paying tribute to something.
I 100% agree. All right, so before we get to the next category, real quick, this is my first year on YouTube, and March will be my 1 year anniversary. I would
Oof.
like to thank all of my subscribers out there for all the support, and I also want to give some support to um, some some individuals who have helped me on the way. The first one is Marketing Macabre. They're a indie horror marketing company. They've helped me, supported me, helped me even with interviews. So I definitely want to say a shout out to Michael Joy and his team over there, as well as Psychotoxin Press, um, Christopher Pelton and his team. A lot of like Ruth, who won Best Female Author tonight. He lined me up with her, and like it's great to have. I love an indie film
Yeah.
because the networking, everybody's friendly, everybody's accepting. And one other person I want to say a thank you to too, and I don't know if he's even watching, but Presto Underground. So Presto Underground is a hip hop YouTube channel, and like he has been like my mentor throughout this whole entire YouTube process. He has thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands subscribers, and like he has definitely helped me, mentored me, like in the beginning, and even now when it's like, hey, do this or do that, or don't say please subscribe to my channel in the beginning of every single video, because that
Yeah,
turns people off,
it does.
and it's just little things like that that I didn't know, and he still mentors me to um now. So Earn Presco Underground, thanks, man. And thanks to all you guys.
Oh.
Alrighty. Okay, what do you want next? Everett, you tell me. Do you want best female director, best anthology, or do you want best found footage?
Oof. Let's go best female director.
Best female director. I'm gonna give that to Libby McDermott. She did a sequel to her first movie, which I can't even think off the top of my head, but
Dead Woman's Hollow.
what was that?
Dead Woman's Hollow.
Yes, Dead Woman's House. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Darknet Awaits was fun, man. It was fun. Did you get a chance to see that?
No, I haven't seen the sequel. No, but I've
Okay.
watched Dead Woman's Hollow, but I didn't see the sequel yet. I heard from what you were saying in terms of like her interview when she was discussing it, I was like, oh, okay, I have to watch the sequel now. 'Cause
It was absolutely great because like she crossed boundaries that most female horror directors don't do, and it was absolutely amazing movie.
Mhm. Yeah, I think because I think with her work, um, it reminds me a lot of the work of like Ida Lupino or Roberta Findlay, who were like
I agree.
trailblazers in terms of like female directors because they never looked at themselves as female directors. They just looked at themselves as directors. And one of the things with Ida Lupino that a lot of people kind of criticized, a lot of females criticized her about, was she was making films that were more male oriented. Like she would have all male casts or like
Mhm.
films about a prison, or one of her most famous films was called The Bigamist, which would you would think is like a kind of like, oh, he's like, he's getting with two girls and everything, and ha ha ha, and think it's more of a rah rah thing, but it was actually somebody. It was a really emotional movie about somebody leading two separate lives with two different women, and I thought with Libby's work, that's what it reminded me of. It's not pandering to like a female fan base. It's not pandering to a specific. I don't want to say political agenda, but
Yeah. A
like
feminist
a feminist
agenda.
subject or an ideal. It's more just like I'm just telling you a great story. I just happen to be a female telling it,
Mhm.
but it's just a universally good story, and it's just a universally well made movie. Um, like it's something that is kind of interesting. Also, I think you brought it up in the interview you did with her, where she had nudity in her films.
Yes, which most women horror directors refuse to do.
I would say the majority of them. Yeah, I mean, there's always exceptions,
Oh
but
yeah,
especially when it's more art oriented. But with her, it just felt like, I think if you showed her films to uh, somebody like you, they would not be able to tell that a female directed it. And
not at all,
I think
not at
that's
all.
kind of a testament to how good her work is, because a good story is a good story. Doesn't matter who wrote it. A good film is a good film. Doesn't matter who directed it. And I think the worst thing you can do is be like, ah, that's how I know it's directed by a male. Ah, that's how I know it's directed by a man.
Yes,
Because there's been times like in like Roberta Findlay's catalog where you'll be like, wow, there's like a lot of rape and this and violence against women. My God, clearly a misogynistic piece of shit wrote this thing. Oh my God. And then you find out it's this tiny, sweet little woman, who's just like, oh,
yes,
this is a great film. Oh, we had a good shot here. And it's just like, what? And like,
yes.
and I think that her work, not saying her work is extreme like that, but it's,
No, no.
but it's good, but it's good that, she feels like a chameleon in terms of a director.
And she actually commented right now. I'm literally crying. So
Really? Oh.
yes. But,
Oh. It's like
all right.
It's like Catherine Bigelow, right? If you look at
Exactly.
like Near Dark
You
or
would
like The
not.
Hurt Locker.
You would not know a woman directed
No.
that made those movies,
No.
and I just feel like there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know. But you can put on a horror movie right now, and I can say within 20 minutes, this is a woman. This is a woman filmmaker,
Yeah.
and it's because it only relates to women.
Mhm.
And when it comes to horror, that's a hard thing to do, you know.
Mhm. It is. Like, there was a film, I'm not gonna say the name of it or because I know the director, but there was a line in a movie that my friends and I went to see, years back, and there was a line in the movie where she goes, most men have never seen a tampon." And my friend just looked at me and was just like, "'Cause we don't use them." I'm like, he's like, "Why did she have to say that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Because I watched one, and like the guy was like, I didn't even know, and the guy was like, look, let's go ahead and have sex. I know you're ovulating, right? And the woman was like, well, how do you know I'm ovulating? Well, I track your ovulation schedule. I'm like, okay, no man in the history of men has
No.
ever said that, and most women
No.
don't even know when they're ovulating. So like,
No.
well,
Men
I
are
was like,
oblivious.
ugh.
Men are
I was
oblivious.
like,
Come on.
yes, we don't know that.
No, that
We barely know if a woman is having a period now when that falls. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's always a surprise.
Yeah.
All right, let's shoot over to the best anthology. I love a good anthology.
Oh, yeah. That's my fave. That's one of my faves for sure. It's one of my
So,
favorite things.
so the winner for this year, it is a good one. It's called Scribble from the Crypt. Brad Case.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, but just the title, I'm like, From the Crypt, of course.
It's good because it's a creepy narrator throughout the. So like there's scenes where like you see the actors moving through. It's almost like you're watching a book with a narrator through telling you what's happening. And it's so well done. It's so new, and it's a new concept, and it's shot so well. And I love a good anthology. I was a huge Tales from the Crypt fan, and each story is as disturbing as the next.
Nice.
So I mean, definitely a fun one.
Nice. Anthologies are hard. Anthologies are hard because sometimes like you'll get like a one bad story and the flow of the film is like,
Just
ugh,
just right.
right? And it's done. But no, I have to check that out. Scribble from the Crypt. Nice.
Scribble from the Crypt.
That's
Alrighty. So, all right. Where do you want to go next? We can do best found footage, or we can do best horror villain.
ooh. Well, let's do the found footage.
Found footage.
Yeah.
So this was an English one. This is from an English filmmaker. His name is Richard Mansfield. It's called 13 Sherwood Avenue. That's streaming on Tubi right now.
Okay.
And I love this one because it was a different aspect to the found footage. It was like this guy pretty much has like an Alexa device throughout his house,
Mm.
and cameras all throughout his house. But his Alexa is possessed by some kind of demon,
Mm.
and it was just a clever. I'm a huge Alexa fan. I love my Alexa.
Yeah.
Like, so it kind of hit at home with me. I was like, wow, no one has done. I'm shocked. Before this, I was like, I'm shocked no one has done anything horror wise with, the Alexa, something that's constantly listening to us, looking at us. How come that hasn't been approached? And then I
Yeah.
saw that and I loved it.
Yeah, I know, like, Black Mirror, kinda touched on stuff like that, but, I mean, there was a film back in the 1970s called Demon Seed, and that was about, this inventor that, developed this security system for his house, and basically it becomes intelligent, and it becomes self-aware, and it's trying to seduce his wife, and it's trying to impregnate his wife and everything. The Simpsons did a parody of it, like, with, Pierce Brosnan doing the narration and everything of the house.
Oh.
I don't know if and then the house is, like, trying to get with Marge. Do you remember that
Yes, I remember that episode. Yes, I do.
so
I do.
that's based on an older, film called Demon Seed, which is on Tubi as well. But yeah, the house basically becomes, it's like a automaton type house, and it becomes self-aware and starts and locks him out of the house and like starts to like set traps for him and uh, seduces her and ties her up and everything. Is really well
I'm,
done.
See, I'm writing that one down right now.
I think it was based on a book, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'm going to shoot to best villain. And all right, so for this one, I mean, this is of course tough. Um, for this one, this guy's pretty. I mean, he's a human. It's just not a monster or anything. Um, Dylan Brown did a movie. It's a found footage movie, and it's called Ghosts. It's like an action horror,
Okay.
and it's the Catholic Church sends out these mission like these soldiers
Mhm.
to battle these cult leaders or these
Okay.
cult groups. And so the head of the cult group is this guy named Simeon, I believe his name. He was played by an actor named Joshua Myron McKinney. And he is big dude, big muscular dude, just has a Germany voice. I mean, he carries his knife. Just a gruesome villain. Like,
Hmm.
does an amazing job in this movie. I even like in my interview with Dylan, I was like, who was that guy? Like, that guy was fucking terrifying. And it was no makeup or anything. He was just him.
Oof.
And
Those
he,
are
I
always
mean, like he's a professional wrestler or
yeah.
something. I was like he looks like it.
I was about to say it's definitely probably a professional wrestler.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So next, let's do a fun one. But the best foreign film for this year.
Ooh.
Which one do you think that one is?
You know, I I don't recall you interviewing that many people from overseas. Well, I guess foreign could mean
Ireland,
Mexico,
Australia,
could mean anything.
Mexico. Mexico
Oh,
is the hint.
is okay. Ooh, I think I know, but I can't remember the name of the movie, unfortunately.
It's called Entity, and the director's Oscar
Oh,
Moreno.
Oscar. Yep.
This was a
I remember that interview.
It was a beautiful Mexican movie
Mm.
in Spanish.
Yeah.
and it's a found footage, but it's in black and white, and it's so crisp, it's so beautiful, and it's eerie as well. It's
Mm.
such a well done movie.
Seems to be a lot of found footage on Tubi, like a lot of
A lot,
a
a
lot.
lot. But here's the thing is too. So there's thousands and thousands and thousands of found footage movies on TV. To find the good ones is tough.
Yes,
To find the
very
good
much so.
ones are tough. And I love a good found footage. I mean, I just named 3 great I mean,
Yeah.
Ghost is amazing. Um, 13 Sure was amazing, and Inti, I mean, 3 amazing found footage movies.
Oh, yeah, it's a hard genre just because, well, you can only go like, especially if it's something supernatural.
Mhm.
As soon as you see like a CGI thing, immediately it takes you out of it. So
Yeah.
when it's more human oriented, it's definitely a lot more engaging. Um, the one thing
Listen.
that always throws me with found footage films is when they're period pieces. And like when they're supposed to be set in the 70s or they're supposed to be shot with something.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there was actually a Hollywood film. I think it was called like Apollo 8 or something like that, and it was supposed to be Super 8 footage of
Mhm.
this space of one of the NASA missions where there was like an alien possession thing. And I'm watching this going, but Super 8 has no sound.
Mhm.
And Super 8 is on like tiny rolls. Why is this all in high def? And it's supposed to be set
By
in
the
like
way,
1960 something, right? So I'm just like, it immediately killed. I couldn't get past it because I'm like, like, what am I supposed to be watching? And is
yes,
it like a reenactment? Is it and it's like, oh, this is like the footage we found? I'm like, but it's not. Like even their haircuts and everything aren't even what they were in
but
that time period.
I wouldn't even try that. If I was on a found footage, I would stick because even like, by the way, the villain's name is the Chosen One. I
Oh
apologize, the
yeah,
Chosen One. Um, but if I was going to do a found footage, which I wouldn't, but if hypothetically, it's the easiest horror film. I never made a film, but here's the easiest
yeah. It's the easiest thing you can do.
thing to do. I would keep to something basic with, 'cause even if you do the supernatural aspect, you're relying on the audience to use their imagination, which not a lot of people can do.
No.
So I would do something like you were saying, the security alarm, somebody's breaking into your house, or there's some kind of person or shadow outside, and
Yeah.
you can stick with something like that. And but to do a period piece with a found footage, I mean, when you have to use like older school cameras too,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
It
like
wouldn't. But most people won't. And that's
won't,
why
yeah, most people are not because they don't have
no,
it. Yeah,
no, that's why it immediately doesn't work. It's like saying, "Oh, we're doing a found footage from the 1930s," and I'm like, "You're shooting with, like, your phone." Like, and I'm not trying to sound like a snob, but it's like, don't do that. Like, if you can't make it work, like, authentically, then don't do it. What
yes.
just stick with, like, modern technology and everything, and modern like, there's some excellent material and inspiration that you can get from watching some YouTube videos where it's stuff caught on camera. There was one where it was a earthquake that happened. I believe it was in Taiwan, and there was a voice of a little girl trapped in this building, and she was asking the workers to come help her, and it was like a 4 hour um, like excavation trying to like get her out and everything. And there was actually footage of her like in one of the windows and everything. But when they went in there, they couldn't find anybody.
Wow.
And but there is a shot of like when the camera moves past, you see her in the window. So you see like a little girl in the window, and you think, okay, that's her. Like, and she's trapped. But when they went in there, they couldn't find anybody. So I'm like, stuff like that, or stuff where it's like there's a noise outside, and they can't detect where it is, stuff like
That's
that. Like that is creepy.
because
The-
it's something that, like, once you turn it off, you hear the slightest fucking noise in your house, you're like, "What the fuck is that?" You know?
exactly,
And, like,
exactly.
I love a good found footage like that where
Yeah, it's
yeah,
hard.
it's
I
hard to
just
do
think,
though.
yeah, it's hard to do. I think soon as you start to add effects to it, that's when it kills
Mhm.
it. Like
Yep,
any type of any type of makeup effects or like CGI, it kills it because it immediately it doesn't match the camera footage.
yeah,
So you're like, oh, it's an effect. So
exactly.
sometimes it's best just to not show it and just have like
Not
a
sure,
glimpse
and
or
just give
something.
us the mystery.
Yeah.
Ruth, welcome on. But by the way, you missed it. You won Best Female Author of the Year for Oh Fuck, It Hurts. So congratulations, Ruth.
Congrats, Ruth.
Okay, so we're winding down. By the way, so let's take a real quick break. Everyone, by the way, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I mean, this is a fun channel, and I'm gonna start doing next year. I'm gonna start doing lives, um, more recent. I mean, more. I'm gonna start this. This is my first live. This is fun, man. I like this. So I'm definitely gonna do this a little more. All right, best male director, and this is someone that's already won an award for the night.
Paul Ragsdale? No?
Gorilla Metropolitana for Darius.
Ah, for
Darius.
Delirious or Darius. Wow.
Darius gets yes. Darius.
Yeah, I
It's
can
just
see that.
it's just a beautiful shot movie, man. It's you take out
Well,
the
and
disturbing aspect to it and just the cinematography, the art behind it, the composing, the sounds. I mean, it's
yeah,
just a beautiful movie.
I think also with just that interview you did with him, it felt like he was. It's rare that somebody wants to kind of um, bleed for their art type thing,
Yes,
and it's rare to get that where you want to go past a certain limit, like we discussed, and you could tell, like, just in his just the way he conducts himself in his interview and him just being as open as he is. Reminded me a little bit of Jodorowsky in some regards.
100%.
Um,
I mean, he just doesn't care, and like
no,
I even said that I was like, you're a rare person because everybody says this. I say this. I don't care what people will think about me, but most of us, all of us do.
yeah,
He's a rare breed that you can just look at him and just he don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about him,
no, no.
and that's a unicorn.
Yeah, that's it's a rare thing because I think even the people that claim that they still have responsibilities, they still have families, they still have jobs they go to and everything like that. So when uh, eh, you either need fuck you money, or you need just the ability to go without
Yes,
go without possessions, go without anything. Um, Clearly, I haven't lived up to that, but
I have either. Yeah,
I can't. Um, and I don't have fuck you money. So,
because 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 like you said, like Kanye West, I'm bringing him up. Kanye West has fuck you money. He don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about it. He'll
no.
say any crazy shit out of his fucking mouth because it's fuck you money. Like
Yeah,
this guy is a rare breed because he ain't got fuck you money and he just don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Like I
And
mean, what
he
he
can go
says he could
without.
do, his movie could sabotage his career completely. He's like, nope, this is what I want to put out there. I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's why I say he reminds me of Jodorowsky in many ways,
Mhm.
just because, like, with Jodorowsky, like, he has no paintings in his house, he has no furniture, like, he's just, like it's just very minimalist,
Yeah,
and because he there's artists, and then there's, like, artists that are
Yes.
like, man, like I will bleed for my art type thing. And you need to sacrifice a lot to get to that level. A
Yeah.
lot. And not many people do. I couldn't do it.
When he was
I
talking
couldn't do it.
about, he was running through the woods with his booty hole wide open. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, nope, I'm good, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going that far for any art at all.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's.
it's well, like I
I
said,
mean, that.
you have to be willing to make that sacrifice and just
Yeah,
go for it. And most people won't, and that's fine. But the ones that do, it's like, man, my hat's off to them.
I said, got more balls than I do.
Yeah.
More balls than I do. All right, so down to our final two. Okay, we're going to next is the best short film.
Oh,
This one was done by a film student.
film student. Oh, give me a hint.
It was only 5 minutes long, and, it served its purpose in 5 minutes.
Hmm. I can't think
It
of
was,
it.
so it was called. It's called 3 a.m. and it was
Okay.
done by Ricardo Albaran. It's it's a 5 minute movie about this kid who he goes into study hall in the library, falls asleep, and wakes up, and some weird shit happens.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it told a terrifying story in 5 minutes. It was amazing.
It's hard to do. It's very hard to do. I
Hey,
still
what's
can't do it.
I get 5 minutes. I'm like, shit. How the hell was he doing that?
Yeah,
Hey,
I just
what's up, Die Horror?
yeah, 5 minutes, I mean, for me, I'm like, I'm overthinking it just right now.
Yeah,
I'm like, "Hey, like, gotta think of, like, the backstory to this person, like, what's going on," and because it's hard to do it in 5 minutes, because otherwise, it just comes off as a scene rather than a story.
exactly. And I wanted to see. I, of course, I wanted to see more, but I was like, that pretty much tied it up in 5 minutes. That's impressive.
Yeah?
All right, so we're gonna shoot to the big dog, the best indie horror movie of the year. Now, this one was fucking hard, and this is someone I didn't even get a chance to do an interview with this year. And this movie is streaming on Tubi right now. It is called The Craving. Have you seen that one?
No. Um, there was a couple movies called The Craving on Tubi, so I'm trying to think of which one. It's probably the
The-
newest one.
It's in this one. It's these people working in a bar, and you don't know if they're criminals or what, but they come in and they hold up the bar, and then there's these people outside who are trying to get the criminals who came in, or you think they're criminals, and then and there's a whole alien aspect to it, and it's but the crazy thing about this movie, you get to know all three sides, and you actually start liking all three sides. So you don't want
Ah,
to see nothing bad happen to either one. And it was just an amazing. Some people are gonna be like, Travis, this is a sci-fi movie. No, this is one of those movies where I consider it a fucking horror movie. Okay, but it was just a fun ride. Felissa Rose was in it. There's a
okay.
couple of individuals. Yeah, and she dies in a gruesome way. Gruesome way in that movie.
Nice. Nice. I think I've probably seen the poster for it. I haven't watched it though.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a fun ride. All right. This was a fun first live. This was first fun awards, all that stuff. I was nervous. Ever do you remember I was telling you I was like kind of nervous about doing this? This is
You are
easy.
no,
This is good.
you're good, man. You're
Yeah,
good. No, it like honestly, what's good about your format is it's just it feels like a podcast. Like honestly, like I was even talking to my girlfriend about this, and like you should probably just do a podcast with some of the stuff, and just talking with some of your topics and everything, or even have like a round table or like a
Yes,
panel, just talking about various topics, like whether it's found footage or slasher movies or whatever, different topics each episode. Because honestly, man, like the, the the way you can do interviews, it comes off like you're having a conversation, and that's
correct,
always the best kind of interview,
correct.
and it's always the best kind of interaction. Uh, Sometimes when you have a format, it comes off as a bit dry, and then when
Goes by to
after the interview is over, then you're like, oh, I wish I said this, and oh, I forgot to mention this. Sometimes it's better just to, hey, I want to get this quick thing in here, and some if it trails off, it trails off.
it
You
just
know?
goes. The majority of my interviews go into a long ass rant that's off topic, but that's fun. People like that, I
Yeah,
think, and it's fun for me. It's fun for the guests, and that's what it's all about.
yeah. No, for sure. I like that aspect of your interviews, and like when I did my interview with you, I felt like completely comfortable with it. It was because I was nervous going in because it was like the first interview I've done like this, and honestly, man, like probably within like 10 minutes, I was just like, man, no, this is. I'm just like talking to a friend. Like it just felt like we're just having a conversation.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, because I get a lot of new filmmakers and authors, and I can see that they're shaking like a leaf before, and I'm like, calm down. I
Yeah,
got this. I'm gonna guide you through this process. So, like, even if you get to a stale point, I am going to switch this and keep it moving. I'm gonna keep it
right.
moving, and that's a good interview. And I don't use no script or anything.
No.
Everything is ready to roll.
Yeah, and what's good is when to, and I just seeing your channel grow from where it was to where it is now, like the amount of subscribers that you had increase and everything. It's also I noticed like in terms of your interviewing techniques, they've definitely grown.
Yes.
Like because sometimes, you know, before, like sometimes the guest would just ramble on and ramble on. You would never get a word in, and
Yep.
it felt like you were just a moderator, right?
Yes.
You're just sitting there like, and they're just talking about
Just going.
just going.
Still happens though. Still happens every once in a while,
It
but I
still
know how to
happens.
nip it. I know how to nip it and switch it.
Yeah, no, and I think that's something that um, it's beneficial for me because I tend to rant, as you can tell, but
No, you're fine.
but it's beneficial because I can see that you're like, okay, we're gonna switch the topic now. Let's
Yep.
talk about something else.
Yep.
Let's go over here because some people need that guidance
Yeah.
in terms of an interview. But no, you've definitely just your channel and like we were talking before with the previous interview, just your music, like your intro music. Originally, you didn't
Thank you,
have
man.
anything, and you're like, no, let me put something, and you've seen your growth as an artist, which I mean, doing interviews is an art form, and so you've seen how you've progressed in regards to that. So you should definitely be very proud.
Thanks, man.
And if anybody should be winning an award, should be you.
Oh, thank you,
So
man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. No, but listen, 2024 is going to be the horror room is going to be bigger, better,
yeah,
badder. I got some amazing things in store, and it's only going to get bigger and better. Everyone. So
nice, nice. Looking forward to it, man.
definitely.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room Awards, and congratulations to all of the winners.
Congrats,
Everett,
guys.
it's always been a blast, man. I'm gonna talk to you soon, my friend. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.